remember it was Christmas because I ended up having a random Christmas with some Mexicans.
Just random Christmas with random Mexicans.
Okay. Random
I can't wait to hear this one.
Random Christmas with some random Mexicans invited me over, and I was like, okay. I showed up and was like, hola.
Because before the pandemic, I just really had this heavy spirit on me. Like I was.
Let's have a chat, talk this and that with PB and Jaisy.
Hey, it's the PB and Jaisy show, and I have got
Bill Stedham
and
Jaisy George.
And we have a special guest today, but I'm going to start with a question for you guys. Ooh. What time of year do you feel like you are the least healthy versus the most healthy?
I can tell you.
Okay.
So this morning I was looking at Meat Church, and I got a recipe that I'm going to try for this weekend because it's the holiday time.
I'm sure it's got meat, cheese, fat,
bacon.
Actually,
bacon.
It's smoked sweet potato casserole with marshmallow fluff. And it has tons of butter and marshmallows and stuff. And I'm going to make it in the smoker tomorrow to go with a pork butt. And on top of that, an apple crisp that has cranberries in it and ice cream. And I'm probably going to eat about 5,000 calories.
So this time of year is
This time of year
okay.
is the most unhealthy for me.
Now, Jaisy, I know you're super thin, super fit, but is there a time of year that you indulge more than others?
Maybe the holidays.
I'm gonna say, if you say no, I'm just going to hit you, so just say something.
Yeah, probably the holidays. I would say I'm pretty well balanced all the time where I don't think like cheat days or like anything like that.
Wait,
So-
I have to ask a question. You bring in the most amazing pumpkin rolls.
That's how
and
she
bread.
stays so skinny.
Yeah.
She gets all of us
All the
fat.
all the
and
baking
then
things.
She
And
looks great.
more of it comes in during the holidays. So
I didn't choose the baking life. The baking life chose me. I am honestly like I'm not even that big on like sweets and stuff, but somehow God made me with just this ability to bake really well.
Just like burn
So
calories
you
without
heard
doing
a
anything.
message from God that said this: Jaisy, bring in cookies.
So our guest today he's not a fair weather dieter. He is not a, like Jaisy said, it's not like, oh, it's the holidays, I'm gonna eat whatever I want. This man has lost a half of himself, I think. I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your weight loss journey, if you don't mind.
Well, I am Kenneth Love, or you can just call me Ken. And
Listen to that radio voice.
Yeah.
K-Love.
And even the name. K-Love. Ken Love.
Yes, Kenn Love or K-Love. But yeah, as Ms. Paget was saying, I am plant-based or vegan as of now. And the truth is, it happened on accident. It's I didn't plan it. I didn't know I was going to do it. I knew it during the pandemic, when the pandemic first started, it's, scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, you can say that for sure.
Okay.
It scared the dog shit out of me, and I was like everybody else. I was panicking. I come from a background where, everybody speaks on the conspiracy theories of what this could be happening, population controls and stuff like that. So I was like, damn, do I take the shot? Do I not take the shot? And I just figured the best thing I could do in that situation was just become more healthy.
Okay.
And give my body a fighting chance to anything that may come to it.
Okay.
And so that's just where it started.
So what was a normal diet like for you pre-COVID? Like what, was it just everything? Like everything was?
Everything. Nothing was off limits. Like
okay.
Nothing. Like I can go to a Pizza Hut, get a large pizza.
Oh yeah,
some
me too.
wings, Pepsi.
So it just wasn't something that you ever thought about. It was just kind of mindless, like, oh, I'm hungry. Let me just get something, whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Stressy
Yeah,
all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and if you're like me, you're raised to clean your plate and, Southern food, like everything that I was ever fed has a stick of butter in it. So
And
that's how it's
gravy,
raised.
and it's fried.
Yes.
Yeah, and you had to have bread, and you had to have dessert, and you have to,
Yes. Yes.
So that's kind of, you found yourself there.
Yes.
Now, so the pandemic, you said it kind of scared you into, hey, I need to be the best version or the healthiest version of myself.
The best version, because
Okay.
it just wasn't about health. It was everything. It was the way I was living. It was how I was always afraid. I didn't notice how much I didn't accomplish. I'm a young person, but I lived such an old life.
Yeah.
I was just I had looked and I was like, man, if this is my last, like, I'm gonna be like, damn, man. Like,
What did I miss?
You could have done so much better.
But good for you, because so many people use that as a time and an excuse to to do the opposite. You know, like, hey, the world's in an F it. I'm just going to do whatever I want. So you saw it as, hey, if this is going to stay this way, I'm going to change some things. Yeah. So you said you changed diet. You changed, what changed personally for you? Because you mentioned that some things changed for you, just how you were living.
No, it's just kind of like you said. What you just said is the mindset I had.
Okay.
It's like beforehand, because I'm a Pisces. So by nature, I'm an empathetic person, and then on top of that, I'm a people pleaser. So if I wanted to do something, I would need it. I felt like beforehand I needed the approval of others.
Everybody.
Or if I worried about how it would affect somebody else. Like if I knew this choice was better for me, I still would possibly not do it if it would hurt your feelings.
Gotcha.
Or if it would make somebody else feel like I worried about what you thought about me.
Well, and I've met, and so we do a lot of Enneagram stuff, and that's number 2 on the Enneagram, and it talks about how you, like, let's say somebody was left in your care, niece, nephew, whatever, mom, you would feed them a great diet, you would make sure they got their medicine, but when it comes to you, it's like,
yes.
You know, you make different choices,
Exactly.
but you would feel more obligated to that other person than you would for yourself.
For myself.
So you made that change a little bit.
I did what you said. I basically was like, if you just, most people have near-death experience and survive it. They become like these godlike creatures because they had a face-to-face interaction with death.
Right.
And that was my near-death experience, the pandemic, because again, I'm thinking, this is over.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in a religious household. You think about all the 10 plagues.
Oh, yeah.
You think of Revelation. He's like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
So I was like, to me, I was faced with death, and I looked, and I'm like, bro, everybody saw the greatness in you except you.
Yeah.
So like, you about to die such a low version of yourself because you just couldn't wake up and see the greatness in you.
So how far into the pandemic was that?
That's like 3 days.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was like March 10th, something like that.
I was scared because beforehand, all I did in college was study conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did that give you a lot of anxiety, like thinking about all these things that are happening? And
so that's how I got so skinny. He was so anxious. He was just running around his house.
Yes. So it gave me a lot of anxieties, and then finally, like, I remember sitting outside and I was just sitting there thinking, and I just had this experience, you know, and to me, I think I sound crazy if I just really go into the depths of it, but I really feel like for the first time, I know people say they pray and they talk to God and stuff, but it's like for the first time, like I really not just spoke with him, but I heard him.
Awesome.
you felt the power.
Yeah. And then
Awesome.
He was like, what do you want? And it was different because he didn't sound like this old English character. He just sounded like me. He was like, what you want, bro?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong? Like,
What you want, Caleb?
exactly. And I told him, I was like, this, and he showed me all these versions of myself, and he was like, pick, and I did, and he said, now you just got to get up and put the work in.
Awesome.
And that's what a lot of people miss. And so from there, it just started. The first thing I did was I gave up soda. I started drinking water heavy, and I gave up red meat, and it was red meat and pork. So no beef, no pork. And then it just started slowly changing from there. And I'm here.
And there's something you said that I think is huge, because so many people ask God for things, and I can't remember what the quote is, but it was something like, yeah, God gave me this land, but I still had to till it, and I still had to plant, and I still had to harvest. So it's not just God's going to wave this magic wand and say, okay, you're a different person. You, like you said, you have to put the work in. Like you choose, but now what are you going to do to get there?
I heard a really great story about that with God. That's like, God could easily just snap his fingers and had saved the world, but God is about the process. Like God could have snapped his fingers and saved the world, but instead what he did was he brought a baby that grew over 30 years, and his life touched so many people. But it could have happened so easily, but it's the process. And so about your process and kind of that journey, what did that feel like to take those steps and to keep you know, because within a day, within a moment, your life changed because of that encounter that you had, right? So what did that process feel like? Did you feel like you were just kind of like robotically doing things, or how did it feel?
No, it sucked. It sucked because you think, like, you go to God and you say, like, I want this, and you think, like, he's just gonna be like, right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, nah, this is how you get it. And then I'm gonna show you all the reasons why you can't get it right
He's like,
now.
do you really want it? Yeah, if so, yeah.
Because he like like you go to the depths of you. Like why do I eat so much? Like why?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I was forced to clean my plate.
Yep.
So then as you're doing that, you go to the depths of you and you start finding all these excuses and reasons and places you could place the blame on why you like that. And then he puts it on the plate and be like, but nah, you got to take the blame.
Right.
That sucks. Like, that shit sucks.
Adulting sucks,
It's
in
like-
general.
Well, but so when you do this, so for years and years and years, you've been drinking sodas and everything else, right? So let's start there. You got off sodas. Did you have withdrawals from it? Was it easy to just give it up?
Yeah, it was, because I found the purpose. Like, and my purpose in my head was like, I wanted to live. Like, because within that, one of the things I started doing was learning more about my family. And the more I learned about the men in my family, a lot of men, I think most of my grandpa, his brothers, like their cousins, like none of them made it out their 50s.
Oh, wow. That's young.
And I want to say it was like young 50s, like 54 was one of the oldest. And my uncles now are I have family members, trying to describe, because you got my mama's side, my grandmother's side, my grandpa's side, but
Right.
I believe they're on my grandmother's side. I see them, we had like two but they made it to 60, but they passed.
Oh, that's still really young.
Two of them passed in the pandemic. The health just couldn't keep up with it. And so that was another motivating factor. So I had a purpose, like I wanted to live, and I didn't miss it because, to me, I had my near-death experience, and
right.
it sucks.
You saw the benefit.
Yes.
Well, and I think what you said there is really important, because you did what a lot of people don't do. And instead of them saying, most people will say, I'm going to give this thing up. And so they're sacrificing, right? So they feel like they're missing out or they're losing something. But you were gaining, and you realized what you were gaining. I'm gaining lifespan. I'm gaining, future for myself. I'm gaining some things for my family. And so that Coke, all of a sudden, doesn't look the same.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, because if you were to change the two,
taste the same, smell the same, like it's just, and like I tell people, when people ask me and I do talk, and I tell them, like, most people, they want to lose weight. Most people, they want to build muscles. Most people, they want to look good. Most people, for me, it's just like I wanted to live. And when I say live, I'm not just talking about like being alive and breathing. I'm talking about live. Like, I say the pandemic is my near-death experience, but I probably died 1,000 times in my lifetime because I was so afraid. I was scared. Like, religion scared me. Like, I love the teaching of any spiritual teaching. Any spiritual teaching, whether it be Christianity, Muslim, if it's taught right. Because at the core of any religion, it's love, faith, and hope. But the way most religion is taught, because people want to be absolute and right, it's taught in a fearful way.
Have the fear of God, and
Yes.
you have to do this, otherwise you go to hell.
Yes, and stuff like that. And
the tribulation gospel.
And I'm a kid who take at the face value. So if you tell me, hey, if you ask God for this, he gonna give it. I was the kid coming to you like, I asked God this 20 times. Why hasn't he given it?
Right.
And it's like, you can't question God. So I grew up scared. Like, I didn't go do this. I didn't go do that. I didn't, in my 20s, I didn't try things. People would see the great friend in me, but I couldn't be that great friend because I was scared. So I lost relationships because of my fear. I missed out on opportunities because of my fear. And I played football in high school. I got invited to Henderson's College in Arkansas's homecoming week. I didn't go because I was scared.
You're scared.
I was
Wow.
scared. Like I didn't fly.
So fear has been a big factor in your
Yes.
life. Okay.
Yes.
How have you overcome that now?
I really learned what it meant to the scripture, and I try not to get too bibiblical.
No, we'll have
It's
it.
okay.
Go
But,
preach.
Power, the thorn, the power of flesh that became like that's an active scripture in my life. You know, he begs and pleads with God to remove it. God's like, nah, I'm not taking it out. I'm not moving it. And he's like, why? Like, why would you move this? You know, again, it's that you told me if I asked you, you'll do it. Like,
Right.
And what I got for you, I need you to be weak.
Yeah.
Because in that's where my strength lies. So when people ask me, well, how are you not scared no more? It's like, shit, I'm still scared.
Yeah.
But he became real. It wasn't just a name to me. I don't have to prove to anybody else who the creator is to me. Like, it became real. So it's like I have these moments, like when Jaisy emailed me about coming on this show. I'm nervous right now. I didn't. It's like, man, what am I talking
So that
about?
fear still is
It's
there,
there.
but
Yeah.
But
you
he's not-
respond differently.
Exactly.
You have a greater power in you.
Yeah. But he said no. He's not, because he showed me like the this what's out there, because I don't want to just do this for me. I want to reach people who are just like me. I want to catch that 16-year-old and say, dude, you would be the greatest thing in the world if you can conquer your fear.
Yeah.
If you can start pleasing you like you please others. If you can stop worrying about other people's opinions. If you could just have the courage to be disliked, hence which is a good book to read. But
And what is it called?
the courage to be disliked.
The courage to be disliked.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, so it's still there, but then, like, he really dwells within me now. So he like, you move out the way, I go. I go speak. If you don't want to speak, I go talk. I go tell them the story. So
Yeah.
like, you see me shaking, you see me moving back and forth.
I think you're doing great.
So
I
you're
would have
doing
known
great.
you were
We can't
nervous.
tell you're nervous.
Yeah.
So I'm nervous.
You're doing awesome. So Kenneth, can I ask how old you are? Is that okay?
34.
34.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So young guy,
Yeah.
still a young guy. So you were what, 32, I guess, at this point, and you had the revelation or okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
so to sound even crazier, before I remember it was in December. It was because I remember it was Christmas, because I ended up having a random Christmas with some Mexicans.
Just random Christmas with random Mexicans.
A random
Okay.
Hey, I
Christmas.
can't wait to hear this one.
Random Christmas with some random Mexicans invited me over, and I was like, okay. I showed up and was like, hola.
Because before the pandemic, I just really had these heavy spirit on me. Like I was down. And on the Christmas, I didn't do anything. And I remember just walking around the apartment, and these Mexicans outside, they got the grill out drinking. And they was like, hey. I'm
Come
like,
join us.
Yeah. Like,
So you heard from Jesus and Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, but I remember one day I was sitting there, and something just felt deep in my spirit, like that, like something major is about to change, like there's going to be a difference.
No.
And so,
Sorry, there's a man in the office that's lost. I'm trying to point to the front desk.
it's okay.
Go ahead, Kenneth. You're good.
And so, I completely lost train of thought.
Sorry.
Now you fine.
So you're outside, the guys are grilling,
Yes.
you're
Oh,
drinking
They invited
some
you
beer.
over to enjoy Christmas with them.
Oh yeah, so like, and I remember just sitting there, just having a good time, and I just remember like, just something really felt deep within me. It's like, we're going to do this on a higher level. Like I'm really we about to change, and I'm about to force you to be who I created you to be. And I ain't understand it at the time, I just.
Which that's scary too, yeah.
I just thought I had too many Coronas.
Yeah. God finds a way to speak to you.
The liquid courage. It's okay.
Yes. So over the last few years, then what has been? And of course, weight loss has been a major change for you. Do you mind telling us how much you've lost?
So right now, I lost. The last time I weighed, I had lost 100 pounds.
Oh my
You lost a
goodness.
Jaisy.
Yeah, I was.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's more than a Jaisy. She'll remind you you that too.
I've loved
Number 12.
seeing, I've loved seeing like all of the like videos that you've made of recipes and all of these fun things that you've made, where I think a big thing that is difficult for people to make a life change like that is, I'm not vegan, but I'm vegetarian, is that I think they think that they're going to be missing out on a lot of the foods that they love. And they think that, you know, why would I do that whenever, you know, this is something that I don't want to miss out on. So that's great to find other ways to make things that you love just in a plant-based way.
Yeah, and so honestly, Jaisy, I enjoy more the vegetarian side than the vegan. I don't care for the imitation meat.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it when I'm lazy. Like I convince myself, well, at least it's not real meat.
Yeah.
So I go get the Gardeins processed. But in reality, man, I give me some mushrooms and I'll make you something that tastes like chicken.
See, and I think I went a year and a half without meat. And for me, like Jaisy said, it made me more creative and I got to try more things where instead of being limited, I felt like I had, you know, I was forced to be creative. But then once I started cooking, I was like, man, there's so many things that I don't eat or vegetables I'd never even heard of or didn't know existed in the grocery store. And I'd have to figure out, you know, what can I make out of it? What can I do? But I felt like I had more choices at that point. Yeah. Instead of just meat and cheese and potatoes and
that's what I tell people. I was like, man, it's so much. It's way more options. It's way more fun to cook.
how does your family feel? Because family's probably the hardest when you go to eat with the family and they're like, come on, just have a
Thanksgiving. They're like, just have a little bit of turkey. It's not a big deal. It's fine.
Yeah, it's tough. Like it's no matter how much they see it, they still not convinced.
Yeah.
So it's not, they don't mean no harm, but or the one thing I get is people start telling me like the first thing they want to do is tell me why they can't do it. And it's like, I'm not asking you to do it.
Exactly.
You know, or like, or just, and sometimes I at first I wasn't preachy, but now I can't stand some of the things. Like the people say, like the first thing they say is, oh, I just can't do it. And it's like
you could if you wanted. Yeah.
You could if you wanted to,
you
but
can. But
My favorite was, oh, you're not getting enough protein. I'm like, I'm probably eating more protein now than I was before.
and healthy protein.
Exactly.
So the protein I'm eating is not sticking on me. Like I can go eat my protein and still go have a normal life. I'm not laid out on the couch.
Yeah.
You don't have the meat
You're not
sweats.
sleepy.
Yeah,
The meat sweats.
The itis, that's what we call it.
Yeah.
The itis. But it's like it's protein there. The worst thing I heard is I gave somebody some water and they's like, man, it better not be that vegan water. I'm like,
Oh
What's vegan
my
water?
gosh. Oh my goodness.
I guess he thought I put some nutritional yeast in there or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That's funny.
So, but
Well, you look
That's so
great.
funny.
Do you
Yes.
feel better?
yes, ma'am. I feel real good. I feel good. Like I love it. I can wake up without an alarm clock. Like
Yeah.
I literally can be like today. I was like, okay, I want to go to the gym, so I want to be up at 6. Then set an alarm. I was up
And
at
you were just
5:52.
up. Look at
That's
that.
awesome.
Energy, you know.
So you've got some physical change. Sounds like some spiritual change,
Mental, all of
mental. So anything else you've added to your routine since then? Are you reading or listening to anything?
Yeah, so I read. I love reading. Right now, I'm reading a series from a lady named Zinovia Dushkova. She's a Russian author. I know that's probably not, but it's called
Better than what's the 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
doing good.
It's called The Teachings of the Heart. It's
Okay.
a series, and she has a whole bunch of books. And I'm reading one of my colleagues' book. Her name is Haley Driskell.
Okay.
And the book is called Hell's Angel, I believe. I'm rereading her book. I've read it already, but I'm rereading it. And I'm actually writing my own book.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
So I'm writing a fictional book, and then I want to start working on a cookbook, but not in a traditional way. Like I kind of want to tell more of my stories and backgrounds and give details of certain recipes I come up with, how they came about, what I was thinking at that
You
moment.
need to do, because culturally, vegan and vegetarian is not in your culture at all.
No.
So you need to do like a soul food or something,
Yes.
some kind of cookbook or something that, what I would say is normal food, but in a healthy manner.
Yes,
That'd
ma'am.
be awesome.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm planning on doing. And because the one thing I don't do is like I make a jackfruit barbecue sandwich. Most people say it's pulled pork. Nah, it's jackfruit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you it's pulled pork.
Oh, yeah.
It's jackfruit.
That's one thing I don't like with vegetarian or vegan items where they're trying to make it, or like you can buy I don't buy the fake meat stuff, but they'll be like the not chicken.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just call it like something else.
What it is,
Fried tofu.
Yeah, you don't gotta say it's anything similar to chicken or any sort of meat. Like that's not.
Well, that's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we have a little segment that we like to call
Tales from the Lockbox.
So, as a vegetarian, I think I kind of understand. Sometimes people will just be ununderstanding or don't really know what it is. So, this is probably 8 years ago or somewhere in there. I went to a Mexican restaurant. It was out in Fort Worth near the Stockyards. And I'm sitting there and, I'm looking at the menu and there's like nothing that's like vegetarian. So I asked the lady, I'm like, oh, do y'all have anything that's vegetarian? And then she's like, oh yeah. And she like points to this area. Then she's like, pollo. And I'm like, that's chicken. Like I can't have chicken. She was like, no chicken? And I'm like, no, like vegetarian is like no meat. And she was like, pork. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. And then she starts telling me that.
She goes to the farm.
No, she starts telling me that chicken's a bird. And I'm like, I get that. That's not vegetarian.
Nah.
Like you
So
didn't
I'm
know.
Sure, like, no, man.
No, chicken's a bird.
That's not it. So I'm sure you have similar stories, which what you talked about with like the vegan water.
Yeah, I have. I think the craziest one I have is we was. What was it? I had a few. I'm trying to see which one to tell. It was the ones with the greens. My family had made some greens, and
It's not just greens.
They cook it with lard and bacon.
It's bacon, ham, everything is in there, and I'm saying no, and it's like, and they're just trying to convince me every reason why is vegetarian.
okay. Yeah.
It's like you could just move this out. You could take that. It's like once the meat touch it, it's not vegan.
Right,
The juice
right.
cooks in there, and I ain't had it in a while. It's gonna mess with your stomach. And after that, they just line everything up and ask you, is it vegan? So I'm just like, will you eat it? It's like, yeah, well then it's not vegan.
Right.
If you're gonna eat it, it's not vegan.
My brother used to hate it that I was vegetarian. So he would we would get pizza and he would hide pepperoni under the cheese. And I'd be like, what are you doing? So even still now, if I get a pizza, I always look under
He
the
tried
cheese.
to slip you a pepperoni.
Yeah, try to slip me pepperoni.
So I got to throw another plug in to my people. Shout out Landon, Q. Shout out to all y'all. Pizza Verde in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Right there by the Camp Bowie office over there on Lock Street. It's plant-based pizza.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Wood fire.
I'm gonna check that out.
Everything. It's lovely. It's lovely. And then right in that same strip, there's a Mexican restaurant. They have a whole vegan menu. Jackfruit
nice.
tacos.
Oh, I have to go there for a better Mexican experience.
Mariachi. And Ashley. Shout out to Ashley.
And that's called Mariachis?
Mariachi's down
Okay.
there. So.
Wow.
Now I'm hungry. Bill's like, well, I'm going to go fix my meat.
No, that's not what.
Speaking of the pork butt that I was making later today.
Oh, not about to do that. I am going to smoke a sweet potato though later on today.
Yeah.
I do love sweet potato.
Okay.
And the apple crisp is totally fine too.
Yes.
No,
yes.
it's not.
It's not vegan, but
Yeah, it's not
it's
total.
vegetarian. It's totally fine.
0 calories.
Yeah, it's not true at all.
So I have a question for y'all. Who wrote the theme song?
Oh, I wrote the words, but Michael sang it.
Yeah, I knew it was Mike. I was the one who wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a talk.
I like it.
Yeah, see, you got this down.
Jaisy.
Hey,
That's
watch
good.
out, Michael. You got somebody taking over.
Good work. Well, on all this, we're going to level up a little bit. So, Virginia Woolf, this is a quote from her. One cannot think well, love well, see, Kenn Love well, sleep well, if one has not dined well.
That's very true. I can't sleep on an empty stomach.
Well, I've been listening to all this, and we'll take it all under consideration.
Yes.
I'll think about it.
Yeah. I'll think about not doing that. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth. We appreciate your time and your just willingness to share. And I'm just so excited for everything you have. You're
Excited
so
for
young.
the book.
Yeah, I
The
wanna read the
recipes.
book.
It's going to be awesome.
And everything you have in front of you is exciting. So that's just good luck with everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
So thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you, Mr. Tom. I don't know if we've thanked you in a while, but thank you for Nothing. But I'm just kidding. Thank you for coordinating everything and dealing with the man at the front desk that didn't know where to go. But y'all, please like us. Keep continuing to watch us. And with that, we out.
Bye.
Just had a chat, talk this and that with PB